Neutral. Hey, it goes until my birthday. Is my birthday on a Wednesday? Ew. That's how this game goes. Alrighty, so before the wish list, let's go ahead and check out the aesthetics as we always do. Yeah, it's cute. I love the weapon, I'll be honest. I love the weapon. I love the big old, like the Alice in Wonderland thing is really good for me. Like I love these outfits so much. These are super cute. Yeah, these are cute. Yeah, it definitely looks like a Yuffie thing. And this little handbag thing is like, probably flies under the radar. I think that's cute too. I love this, dude. I think this is great. This is actually everything that I said that I love about Ever Crisis and their outfits, with like the little like flares that they add, the little side packs that they add, the attention to detail with the different type of like socks, right? Right, because the patterns are different too. And like that level of attention to detail, like on the weapon and such too, like look at the attention to detail on this. This is why I was so bummed about Sid's outfit. Because like Sid's outfit is fine, it's not bad. It's just like, you come to expect a certain level of like, a certain level of oomph, and I just didn't feel that with Sid, where like these other outfits have been great. But yeah, anyway, so the, but like, I mean, even like, look at the clock. It's got the different suits. Like that's the kind of crap that they always do this. They're so great about that. But for some reason with Sid's outfit, they just didn't do it. It's really strange. But regardless, this outfit looks great. The weapon looks great. Aesthetically, this looks really cool. I like this outfit a lot. It's also pretty plain, but it's got more oomph to it, right? It's got more pizzazz. It's got more Yuffie style to it. So no, I like this a lot. All right, let's start with Watch of the Hunt. Watch of the Hunt is a magic lightning damage weapon. So this pairs with Sid's weapon. Does physical attack decrease mid to high and 70% HP or more. A physical defense increase. That's strange. It's good. The only weird part, the damage is a little low, even though it's a utility weapon, so it's not meant to be a damage weapon. But the reason why let me take a step back. They've listed Yuffie as a damage dealer, right? With the overspeed rolls, right? So Yuffie is listed as a DPS. Obviously, as we've seen in the game, every single character has more than just their intended role. They do have things splashing into other realms, like Cloud just got a sword release that does a physical attack and magic attack decrease for, I think it's the 3 ATB, right? So that's also like a little bit away from the rest of his kit. But I also said when we were reviewing that banner that, you know, Cloud doesn't really have those type of like debuffing effects. So it was a little weird that they were giving him that debuff effect, unless they were going to give him other ways to turn into that like sub DPS, that support, right? Where Yuffie kind of fits into the mold of damage now because of all these massive banners that they've given her. Like the Rebirth banner was a huge DPS increase for her across the board. Not to mention she's like one of the best water damage dealers in the game now because of the exploit weakness water weapon that they gave her. The ice weapon that they gave her in October is the strongest magic ice weapon in the game. The wind weapon that they gave her in December is not the strongest, but it does magic defense and wind resist down while also dealing 620%, which is higher than this, right? With 2 defensive decreases. So like that is increasing your damage as you're dealing damage. So them giving that 620% and giving this one 540 is a little weird. It is AoE, so I get that, right? And that's the reason why it's a little bit lower. But when Sid's doing like up to what, 800% with a lightning resist decrease, and Zac is doing 800% AoE with a exploit weakness add, this feels a little weird. If it was on if this was on Sid, right? If those 2 weapons were switched, I'd be like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like I would look at that and go, yeah, no, that makes sense. Like Yuffie can have that. That makes sense. 620% up to 800% with the buff. Does a lightning resist down. That's really good, right? Like can pair really well with her exploit weakness weapon. You know, cool. But yeah, it's just strange because she already has a physical attack decrease weapon in 4-point shuriken. And that 4-point shuriken weapon is HP 46 and buff debuff extension, which is great. So I don't know, it's just a little weird. Like, did she need a physical defense up? Like, did a DPS need a physical defense up for all allies? I don't know. That's odd. And then it's offensive sigil materia slots too. Really strange. HP and magic ability potency means that this can be used on any of her magic builds, which is good. So she's got a physical attack down all enemies, and now a magic version that's got lightning damage. So I mean, that's cool, but it's like I said, she already has this weapon, right? Like, that's the thing I want to highlight. The lightning damage part is important, and we'll get to that in a second. But the thing is Yuffie has this weapon already, and I think it already does high or medium to high. I'm pretty sure. Where's 4-point shuriken at? Oh, it is mid to mid. Okay, so this one is better. This one is better. But like I said, the reason why this one is still like usable is because of buff debuff extension, right? This makes it last longer. That's a massive difference, right? This matters. But the other weapon being able to go mid to hide and now having a physical defense buff, now this weapon is useless, right? Comparatively. Like, it's a good sub weapon, right, for HP and buff debuff extension, but like you're always using this clock weapon now, like for sure. Because this is significantly less damage, right, than what the lightning weapon does. And it's not elemental, which means it's irrelevant damage, right, on top of it. But the lightning weapon is like, first of all, it's just a weapon that lightning damage needs, which is great. But like also it does a physical defense up all allies, which is awesome, right? It's like I said, it's not that the weapon is bad. I actually think the weapon's really good. It's just strange that it's on Yuffie. Like, this would make sense on Kate Sith. You know what I mean? Like, if Kate Sith got this weapon, this would make a ton of sense to me. Because it's HP, it's magic ability potency, so it's survivability with a little bit of magic ability potency to make his damage go up a little bit. Does a physical attack down, does a physical defense up all allies. That would be his first instance of physical defense up all allies, which would be great for Kate Sith. Like, this feels like a Kate Sith weapon to me. And for some reason, they gave it to one of the best DPSs in the game. Which again, is just, it's a weird decision, right? It's a weird decision. So, that aside, now that we're past that, the weapon itself is good. 540%, like I said, is a little bit lower compared to some of the other effects, but this is a buffing weapon with physical defense up all allies. So it's still really, really strong. And being able to go mid to high for physical attack decrease is also very good, right? So don't hear what I'm not saying. I know I was kind of went off on a tangent there about how I don't think that Yuffie should necessarily have this weapon, but it is very good, right? It is very good. There's nothing wrong with this weapon. It's a good weapon, and it's going to be a good weapon for Yuffie, who also has lightning resist down. She has that wind slash weapon that lowers lightning resistance, so she can bring that in with this weapon, decrease the enemy's lightning resistance, decrease their physical attack, and increase your entire team's physical defense. These two paired together is crazy. Like, look, being able, if you had a weapon that lowered magic attack and increased magic defense at the same time, you'd be calling it one of the best weapons in the game, right? This is one of the best debuffing and buffing weapons in the game. It's really, really good. It's just strange that it's on Yuffie. Like, if I'm bringing Yuffie to the team, the last thing I'm thinking of is having her buff physical defense. I was not considering having her buff my team's defensive capabilities. Offensive capabilities sometimes, yes, right? Because of Arctic Star and Crystal Cross. But defensive capabilities, no. It is strange to have that on a DPS. And to have this like combination together, it's crazy. Because now while you're DPSing, you're doing this much damage. You're decreasing their physical attack, and you're increasing your physical defense. That is a huge swing in DPS that you're taking on your squad. That's a massive difference. So yeah, great weapon. Our abilities leave a little bit to be desired, but it's for a support weapon. This makes sense. Like, these R abilities make sense, much like I mentioned with the Kate Sith discussion before. But yeah, so with the HP and magic ability potency for a support, it's great. Those are great. And you want survivability on your support, this just helps you do a little bit more damage. It's less important that it's lightning damage, right? It's just, you know, increasing your damage a bit, which is good. All in all, it's a really good weapon. It's a really good weapon. Let's check out Bunny Apron. Gets physical and magical ward, which is a 15% magic defense and physical defense buff, which is great. And Ribbon Rabbit Ears. When granting physical attack down, max potency tier +1. I'm so confused. So that means she can go mid to very high then with the outfit, which is the strongest physical attack debuff in the game. Now I'm really confused. What a strange combination. I don't get it. This is completely out of left field. This should be for Kate Sith. Why is Yuffie getting this? This is so strange. Like this is a Kate Sith banner. It has to be. This must be a mistake. Like, it's gotta be a mistake. This is so strange. Again, it's really good. Like getting a 15% increase to your magic and physical defense is great. This, like I've mentioned before, is like it's useful in certain scenarios, right? Like, so in the cases where you need the physical attack down, it's great. But you were only going to be using this in those scenarios anyway. So it's not like the Angeal one, right? Where Angeal's going to be used in more than just physical defense specific stages. This is the only time you would ever use this outfit, is if you're trying to debuff physical attack with Yuffie specifically. It's incredibly niche-y. It's incredibly niche-y. Doesn't mean it's not good. But yeah, I mean, again, it's good. It's really good. Like, that's really good. It pairs really well with this really good weapon. But like, it's just really strange to have it on Yuffie. I guess it would be good if you're having her debuff the lightning resist. So if you have her debuffing lightning resist, she's able to support by dealing some lightning damage, decreasing the enemy's physical attack and increasing your physical defense. I'm thinking specifically of the guild battle that's happening next week, which is going to be physical lightning. They already confirmed. So I don't know, man. That's weird. And back-to-back lightning banners, by the way, which is also weird. Back-to-back magic lightning banners, by the way, which is also weird because next week is physical focused, not magic. So they're releasing 2 magic damage lightning weapons that are both supporty, which work great with Vincent, by the way. But like, is that the party that they want you to bring? They want it to be Vincent, Sid, and Yuffie? It's just a strange, I don't get it. In terms of if I would pull on this banner, can I plead the 5th? I don't know. I don't get it. Like, this is let me pull it back in for a second. Let me reel it back in for a minute. If this was last year at this time, it would have made more sense, because Yuffie only had 1 damage banner out at this point, and it was the Diner outfit banner, right? She had just gotten her wind weapon. She got her earth weapon sometime in late April, early May. But like, most of what Yuffie did on release was support, right? So a weapon like this made sense back then, because she had magic attack up, physical attack up, fire, ice, and lightning resist down. She had, you know, physical attack all ally or all enemies down. She had, you know what I mean? So like, it kind of fit into her kit. But like, they had completely moved away from that every single banner since Arctic Star. Like, that's not an exaggeration. Every single banner that Yuffie has had since release, so since that initial Arctic Star banner release, every single banner has been DPS for the last 15 months. And this just feels like a very strange weapon to add to her kit now, when all they've been doing is pumping her full of DPS, and her overspeed roll is DPS. So it is strange. That said, weapon's great. Glad it's in the featured pool again. This is featured, yep. So glad it's in the featured pool again. Another great weapon to have in the featured pool. It enables Yuffie to be a really good support, especially for magic lightning stages, which is great. Specifically ones that are hit for physical, right? So obviously this isn't good for Leviathan, as an example. And Leviathan's kind of the main target that I would assume you're using lightning damage on. Obviously the one robots that do physical damage are the exception to that rule, and that one that blocks elements and changes its weaknesses, right? That one also does physical damage. But like, most of the main threats in the game that are permanent content is basically just Leviathan, right? So yeah, it's weird. I think for me, this is probably a skip. just because, again, I think at this point you're probably using Yuffie as a DPS, if anything at all. That's not to say this isn't good and that you can't build around it though, because like being able to lower the enemy's physical attack by 4 tiers, especially for folks that are newer, when you're struggling with certain content that are like high physical attack stats, right? Being able to debuff their attack stat gets you past that content easier than it would have otherwise, right? So being able to lower their physical attack by essentially another 10%, right? Which I think is what the community has agreed upon is the actual calculation. But being able to lower it by an additional 10%, so instead of 30%, it's now 40%. That's a huge difference, right? That's essentially a 33% increase or decrease in total DPS from the enemy side. That's a crazy amount of debuff damage, right? So it's great. I just don't think it fits for Yuffie's kit in general. It's not that she can't make it work. She absolutely can. Like I said, with Windslash, and we'll go over the wish list here in a second. With Windslash, she can absolutely make this banner work. But I think that this is a weird enough banner that I would avoid it. All right, in terms of the wish list, focusing on just Yuffie in particular here, the one and only item that I would include for her offhand weapon would be the Windslash, just because it lowers lightning resist. If you're using her with Sid, and Sid's doing the lightning resist down, then you don't need this, right? So you can actually focus on the Crystal Cross as an example, because this gives you magic attack with some ability potency, which, you know, it's fine. It's not great, but it's fine. Those are really like she doesn't have a ton of magic damage options outside of the 2 elemental weapons that she received over the last couple of months. So Holiday Bell and then Little Red Wreath, which don't necessarily pair with this new lightning damage weapon, but they're both really good magic damage weapons. So if you wanted to tell me that these need to be on here, you could convince me. And then in terms of her offhand, like in her backhand, she's obviously not going to be dealing a lot of damage. 540% is not a high figure, so I wouldn't even worry about adding on like lightning potency and things like that. I think you should put that onto your other DPSs versus Yuffie. So for Yuffie in particular, you're probably looking for survivability and buff debuff extension. The best one that I can think of right off the rip is Citric Wand, which does magic attack and buff debuff extension. So this will buff up Yuffie's magic attack, and this would get her up close to, I think it gets her close to the level 6 break. Because it's what, 23, then 16. So yeah, you get to 5. You get to 5. So you do only get to the 30% increase, but that's fine, right? I don't think you need much more than that. And then if this is at OB10, obviously this is giving you 26 points, which is the level 4 break, which doubles the duration of your debuffs, which is great. Doubles plus 20%, you know, obviously. So this is really good. It also doubles the buff for your physical defense buff as well. So that's also very strong. So this is an easy one for me. If you don't have Citric Wand at OB10, this is an easy one. And then obviously, if you're pulling on this banner, you can't pull for Sid's weapon because it's on a different featured banner. If you're looking for another debuffing weapon though, something that might support this Yuffie build, you could look at Nautilus Spiral, which has Diamond Sigil Break for 3 ATB with ice and lightning resist down. The ice resist down is actually specifically super helpful for Yuffie, since her Little Red Wreath is great with the ice damage. So this is a great option for ice resist down. I think that's an awesome pick. And that's pretty much it. It's the Windslash if you need it, which you probably don't for the most part, unless you're relatively new, like started within the last few months. You've got that option. Then just her 2 magic weapons that she has available, Crystal Cross if you think you want to use that, with the sub weapons of Citric Wand and Nautilus Spiral for support. As far as another sub weapon that Yuffie can use, like I said, this is kind of you're just giving her the items that buff your DPS up. So outside of the Citric Wand, you're probably giving her magic attack all allies. You're probably giving her attack all allies, or physical defense all allies, considering that's probably why you have her there. So I wouldn't worry about focusing on anything else outside of, you know, completing the build. The last thing that I'll mention is that the guild battle is starting next week, and it's going to be physical lightning. And right now there is only one physical lightning weapon in the game that you can pull for that is immediately available, and that is Cloud's Murasame, which is currently the highest featured physical damage that you can deal for lightning damage. There's a strong chance that changes next week. I don't know. There may be a new banner next week that's going to be a limited banner with physical lightning. There's a real good shot. I expect next week's banner to be limited between the lot of us, because these last 3 banners have all been featured. So I expect they'll probably have a limited banner mixed in here, but time will tell. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, so that's what I would include for the wish list. Like I said, not terribly complicated here. It's fairly simple. Just kind of keep it easy. And you know, if I was everybody here, I would not pull on this banner. I don't think that this effect that gives you the +1 or the -1 extra physical attack debuff is worth the investment. I think that every single banner that's available right now, all 4 of these banners are better than this, including the Angeal banner that I'm not super thrilled about. But yeah, I would pull on any of these other banners. The Tifa banner, the Angeal banner, the Zac banner, the Lucia Sid combo banner. All of those banners are better options than the than this banner here, in my opinion.